Welcome to Campus Conversations, a podcast where we bridge the gap between past and present with the voices of our alumni. I'm Trey Sangiacomo, and today we're diving into the story of Eddie Ambrose, an HLGU alumni who graduated in 2025. We'll explore his experiences during his time on campus and some achievements that followed. Eddie will share insights on how his journey unfolded and what it's like working with some of the best women's basketball players in the world. So whether you're a current student or an alumni reminiscing about your time here, stay tuned as we share stories that connect us all. Now sit back and listen to our host, Kel Estep, as he leads us through this conversation.
Welcome. So I'm here with Eddie Ambrose. He played with me last year. He was a senior and I was a junior. Eddie's a big center, great player for HLGU. Loved playing with him, and he's as good of a teammate he is, he's a better friend. So what originally brought you to HLGU, Eddie?
Well, I'd say the main reason was I was looking for a school that was Christ-centered and that was its main priority. Coming from another school, the small Christian school, that ended up shutting down. I needed to find something similar, and I did with HLG, Christ-centered and a small group of close-knit people.
Mm-hmm. What were you involved in anything else outside of basketball at HLGU?
Yeah, I was part of Res Life my senior year. I was an RA. From time to time, when my schedule wasn't too bad, I would be an FCA. Trying to think of anything else. I worked in the athletic office too, so like working scoreboards or ball boy for soccer, baseball, or whatever that entailed. So I just was around as much as possible.
Yeah. And what was your experience like as a student athlete here? Tell us a little bit about that.
It was pretty cool. I think the biggest thing that I take away from it is just the people. Like student athletes tend to cling to student athletes, but at HLG it was kind of easiest to cling to everybody. I feel like with good coaches and good teammates, it was a pretty enjoyable experience. I got to travel, got to play basketball with my friends, and the class load, teachers and professors were, super flexible with, tests and like game schedules and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd say overall it was really good.
Mm-hmm. And you talked about your teachers there. Was there a teacher or somebody on campus that really had a big impact on you here?
Yeah, I'd say for sure Mr. Ayer probably.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame I only had him for a year. I wanted to go into sales, and he kind of called it before it happened, but he told me, I think you'd be better like a coach. Like, I'd see you leading young men or leading in some sort of way or fashion. And that's kind of how my career path is turning out to be. We'll see. But yeah, I'd say Mr. Ayer for sure. He's somebody I know that I can reach out to about anything.
Mm-hmm. And what was the major that you graduated here with?
So I graduated with a sport and recreational management major.
Mm-hmm. And what are you hoping to do with that major?
So I originally graduated in searching for ticket sales jobs. I wanted to work within a sports organization and sell tickets. And the only foot in the door I had was to be a team assistant for the Indiana Fever, which was like a practice player, yet I help with all the skill development workouts. And overall, I'm just there all the time helping players work out. And doing that kind of opened my eyes that, oh my gosh, I think I want to coach. So I think the next step for me is finding a school to be a graduate assistant for. But yeah, it kind of opened my eyes, and that's kind of what I want to do with my degree.
Mm-hmm. And what was it kind of like adjusting from college, playing basketball here, dorm life, to living in the real world, now having, you got a job, you got a boss? How have you been adjusted to that?
I'd say it's similar and it's different. Like, close-knitness is not there at all. I travel for work about 25, 30 minutes, whereas if I wanted to go to the gym at school, I'd wake up and I'd be there pretty much. So that, that's different. The boss aspect, you don't really feel that much. Everybody gets along really well. It's like just a bunch of group of brands more or less, then I mean we have our responsibilities and we're told our responsibilities, and if we fail to do that, they'll let us know. But it's nothing like super out of the ordinary.
Mm-hmm. And kind of explain your job with the Indiana Fever a little bit more. What everything's like there.
Yeah, for sure. So the correct term, the professional term, is team assistant. And that does not mean assistant coach or anything. It's just like assistant as in, how can I help in any possible way? So I'll run you through a day in season and a day not in season. So when they're in season, I usually get up around 7:30. I'm in the gym at 8:30. I do a couple workouts before practice, usually with Aaliyah Boston and a couple other players. And then I wait. Some of the other practice guys show up. We do practice. Essentially, I am a practice player for that hour and a half period, whatever it is, where we play. I have freedom to kind of like, hey, here's what I would do. Or like sometimes, but let the coaching staff work. After practice, a lot of shots up, so a lot of rebounding and a lot of passing and just, being an extra hand for the players who want to get extra work in. Right now, in the off season, I get up early. It depends. We get a list of schedule of players in town and who's working out. So Caitlin Clark's coming off an injury this past season, so she's been in town rehabbing a lot and just working out a lot. So I've been with her the majority of the off season, guarding pick and roll, setting screens, playing 5-on-5, literally everything with her. But it's nice because they have their breaks. Like they go down to Unrivaled, they go down to Miami and work out. So I'm not working every day, but most of the time I am. It's just a lot of passing, a lot of rebounding, a lot of, getting her a Gatorade, getting her a water, just being available.
Yeah. And that's pretty cool. You're, helping one of the best WNBA players in the world. What's it kind of like, that experience with Caitlin Clark?
It's been super cool. She's super down to earth. She's kind. She's very thankful for our time. She actually got me Christmas presents. So I got a hoodie and a nice card and some shoes. She does us right, and yeah, and she's an extreme competitor. She does things the right way. Her shot making ability is like, it's like something I really haven't seen before. No shot at Hannibal-LaGrange women's basketball, but for real, I just like there's levels to it, and that's kind of my first eye opening of like, wow, this is professional basketball.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I know you want to kind of get into coaching. How's it been around the coaching staff? And tell me a little bit just like what you've learned from the Indiana Fever, maybe that you would take into your program when you're starting to coach.
Oh, for sure. So, one thing I've learned from each coach or members on the coaching staff is everybody's got a different journey. Part of our staff came from the G League on the men's side. Part of the staff played until they were 35, 36, retired, and then joined the coaching staff. One of my mentors and I guess my boss, his name's Keith Porter. He's a fellow believer, and we talk about the word at least once a week, and he's a good guy. He started a gym like in Connecticut. He owned a gym with his wife now, and they would do sessions and stuff like that. He ended up sending out a resume to Stephanie White, who was the head coach of the Connecticut Sun. Here's what I would do with this person, and then he got hired as a player development coach. And so everybody's path is different. That's the biggest thing I've learned. I'm in the present, so what's happening right now is supposed to happen, and I just feel like that's something important for everyone. But yeah, I think that's important to take on at the next step, is just realize that everybody got here a different way. Everybody's different. But they've taught me to be myself and embrace that, and that's probably what I would bring with me.
Yeah. And, HLGU, very important in the faith aspect here. How do you think your faith is going to help you just in your long-term future, and then also like just right now where you're at in your life now?
Well, for right now, I mean, just praying and, asking God for patience, because, teams are in season right now at the college level, and I want to be a graduate assistant. So, it's sending those emails out, not hearing anything back, getting responses, taking advantages of visits and opportunities and stuff like that. And it's very overwhelming. If you're a guy like me who wants to get something solidified right away, done deal, that's just not how it works. So being patient has been a difficult thing. And then long term, probably just that he would put me where he wants me, where I'm needed. Like coaching life is a very difficult one. It could be a lot of travel. It could be, 1 minute I'm here, 1 minute I'm somewhere else, and I just want to go where I'm needed and where I'm supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. And what advice would you give to a current HLGU student, just about the real world and kind of just in life in general?
So probably my number one thing would, a little backstory. I came from a very big high school, very worldly high school, lots of mixed opinions, politically, faith-wise, like everything. And then going to HLG for 3 or 4 years kind of, I wouldn't say sheltered that, like the way that non-believers, people who just don't know God, when you haven't been around a lot of people like that, it's kind of more or less, I don't know, shocking when you're back in that, and I guess culture shock.
Mm-hmm.
And continue, like my advice would just be to continue to take what you learned at HLG, continue to understand that there are people out there who have different beliefs, and it's always a good thing to share the word. I try to, whenever I get the opportunity to. But yeah, that's probably the biggest thing I would say is continue to share your faith. Don't be hesitant, when you leave the sheltered bubble that is HLG. But yeah, that's what I'd say.
Mm-hmm. And Eddie, I know you're gonna do great things. You're gonna do whatever you want in life. You're one of the hardest workers. You're smart, and just good communicator, good people person. I know you're gonna do great down the road, and I know you're gonna be a big time coach one day. And I just hope the best for you. And I'm happy that you could join us on the podcast today, Eddie. Thanks so much.
For sure. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Campus Conversations. We hope that you enjoyed hearing Eddie's story about his time at HLGU and what he's doing now. Don't forget to share this episode with other students and alumni who might find inspiration in these stories. Join us next time for more engaging conversations that highlight the journeys of fellow alumni. Until then, keep the conversation going.